Hello, everybody. I am, as always, very excited to be with you today. I am going to be talking about scarcity and abundance. So, the way this will work, I will teach for about 15 minutes. And then I'll open up for questions and live coaching. Use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. For questions, use the raise hand button to come on screen. I'll pause the recording and I'll coach you live about your question. So, as always, if it piques your interest, if this impacts you just by what I'm teaching today, I would love for you to schedule a consult so that you can see how it can impact your life directly. So, scarcity and abundance. These are big buzzwords out there, right? They're thrown around with things like manifesting and affirmations and the universe. But what do they mean actually for you and me in our day-to-day lives? So, first of all, there's just the basic definition. What is scarcity? What is abundance? Scarcity is short supply. So there's not enough to go around. Abundance is there's plenty. There is more than enough, more than is needed to go around. So an abundant supply, there's plenty. So both of them, when we think about our day-to-day life, appear in patterns. We have habits that we practice in scarcity. We have habits that we practice in abundance. And I want to tell you, because I've been thinking about this so intensely all week long, you're going to be doing both. I have found myself all week long where I am like, whoa, there it is again. That was scarcity. That was me looking at the hole. And they're like, oh, that was abundance. That's where I know it can go on and on and on. And I've always got enough. I am always provided for. So, looking at the patterns, scarcity is when you are focused on what is missing in your life. So, imagine you have a bucket, there's nothing in it, and you're like, you're peeking in the bucket, right? You're just peeking in, and you're like looking for something, and it's not in your bucket. It's never there. Never, not a single time you look is there the thing you're looking for in your bucket, but you keep looking in your bucket for it. It shows up in things like money. That's like a really big one. That's when you see like The Secret and you just think about bills flying around and you're like, wait a minute, how do I get those bills that are flying around? Money is one of those things where we practice the thought there's not enough. I don't have enough. I'm not making enough. The bills just keep coming. That's a thought that I've heard repeated. And when you're looking at these patterns, I want you to think, what am I thinking? How am I feeling? Then what am I doing? So in this pattern of there's not enough money, the bills just keep coming, I'm feeling discouraged by that. If I've constantly got this influx of something that a need that I can't meet, that's discouraging. So when I feel discouraged, then maybe I try half-heartedly. Maybe I stop taking action completely. And so the results I'm getting is not that great, right? It's half-hearted. If you think about time, the thought that we practice is I'm so busy. Life is so busy. It goes so fast. Everything's a whir. And there it is. It just happened. It's like I can't get a hold of it, right? And that leaves a feeling of being overwhelmed. When you're overwhelmed, maybe you take frantic action, or you freeze and you can't take any action, or you're not really present in the activities that you're doing because you're so busy. You're like hauling from one point to the next and thinking about the next point while you're here, so that you can get it all done. Knowledge. When we go to try something new, you think, I don't know how. I could never. I don't know what I'm doing. And so you feel maybe unskilled or insufficient. And when you're feeling inadequate, when you're feeling that inadequacy in whatever way, then the action you take is maybe timid. Maybe you just stick a toe in. Maybe you just try a little bit. Maybe you're like, oh, you're always kind of looking over your shoulder. Like, is somebody figuring out that I don't know what the heck I'm doing? So you the action you take is like a little bit, it's not open-hearted, it's not full, it's like just a little bit. I hope I don't get in trouble. That's me. I'm the one that doesn't ever want to get in trouble. So when you think about these patterns in scarcity, in the short term, the quality that you are producing is low. Why does that matter though? So it matters because in the long term, your brain connects that pattern, right? So when you tell your brain you don't have something, then your brain's like, okay, I'm gonna stop looking for it then. You've told me, done, heard, book is closed. I will stop looking for the thing. I'm gonna quit peeking in the bucket. We're done. We don't have it. We don't have money. We don't have time. We don't have knowledge. We're done. Good. And so the brain looks for patterns. If you don't have enough money and you just never will have enough, then the brain's like, oh, that's handy. Could I use that pattern somewhere else? Remember, our primitive brain, our oldest brain, our deep survival brain has 3 goals. It wants to seek pleasure, that's food, shelter, procreation. It wants to avoid pain, so don't do anything new. It might be dangerous. You might get killed. And conserve energy. So it's looking for patterns to create efficiency. So if it can say, I don't have enough money, then I definitely don't have enough time. And if I don't have enough time, then I don't have time to learn. So I'm not going to have more knowledge. You can see the brain will look for the pattern and just apply it whenever it can. So when you look at scarcity, again, that short-term result is my quality of action is pretty poor. But my long-term result of scarcity, when I'm in that pattern of it, is I'm not finding solutions. The brain's closing the book on, I don't know. It's like, okay, good. I'm fine not knowing. Stay in the cave. And so it's not seeking answers. What it's seeking is what it's missing, and it's finding that all over the place. It's happy to stay in scarcity. So short-term, low quality, long-term, not finding solutions, not intentionally creating the life you want, not creating, right? So what about abundance? What about that there's plenty, there's enough? Let me tell you what it's not really quickly. It's not stock photo affirmations that you don't believe. So you can scroll through Instagram and there's all these, you can do it, you're amazing, the universe supports you. And if you don't believe that, then those things are useless to you. If you do believe it, amazing. Repeat that. Positivity, true positivity, positive words that you believe, have a good reaction. I read an article yesterday when I was sort of doing a little bit more research on this that said affirmations work when they are based on the individual's core values. So when my deep wants, needs, desires, baselines, beliefs are met with affirmations, with these positive statements, then they're positive for me. They work. They take me to a more positive place. When they're believable, when they're not believable, then you just fight with yourself. I love this. I for the longest time I was trying to create abundance with money. And I'd be like, I have all this money. Money is coming to me. And I would repeat these things. And then I'd be like, but I'm looking at my bank account and they're not there yet. It's not in there. And so I would fight with myself. I'm like, what a crock. What a crock. This is, and so I would fight with myself. There was this conflict. in the affirmations, it didn't take me to a positive place. It took me to like a fraud kind of place. So the last thing that this said, when an affirmation is future focused, then it produces positive results. So when you say things like, I'm beginning to, I'm looking forward to, I'm learning how, I'm figuring it out. These kind of things can bring you more to that positive space, to that more like there's enough. I have enough knowledge to figure it out. I have enough knowledge to begin. I have enough money to start. So you can take it from that looking in the empty bucket space to start to say, oh, I can start putting a grain of sand in the bucket, and then it's not totally empty. So what does abundance look like in our practical day-to-day life? The habit is noticing small things that sort of bring delight. So for me, my dog has this thing when she's on the sidewalk and she sees a stranger, like a neighbor or something who she loves. Like there are a couple of people that she is in love with. She has a crazy smile. The little sides of her mouth, I've got to get a picture of it. She smiles at them. She literally, her cheeks lift in a non-doggish way and sort of a people-ish way. And she smiles. When she smiles, I love it. I feel such delight. I'm looking at her smiling, and what I'm thinking is, I love this dog. I love how happy she is. I love how she loves. And so then what I feel is love. I feel connected. And so what do? I pet her, or I laugh with her, or I talk with the strangers or the neighbors about what a goofball she is. I create the result of all of that is I'm creating connection with my neighbors, with my dog, with myself. Another example, I love the spring weather. I get up in the morning and I feel alive. It is delicious to me. So when I'm feeling alive, because the temperature is just perfect and the humidity is low and it's so great and I'm not freezing, but I'm not hot. I feel vibrant. I feel alive. So what do? I take the dog on a walk, or I do my workout. And so what am I creating? I'm creating health. I'm creating presence. I'm noticing where I am and what I like about it. I noticed another thing. I love a good pen. I love writing with the smoothness. Now I like the gel pen. You may like something different, but when I'm writing with a pen that I love, I feel ease. And so what do when I feel ease? I enjoy silly tasks like making a grocery list. That tedious thing, I start to connect with something positive. I'm not like dying to go write the grocery list, but when I do this tedious thing, I'm like, little fun thing about the tedious thing. And so I'm finding, again, presence in what I'm doing and a positive anything, just the grain of sand, right, in this bucket. So in the short term, what I'm creating with abundance is I'm creating presence. I'm creating gratitude, and I'm creating connection with me to myself, what delights me to the world around me, and to people in my life, or the dog, or whomever it might be. Long term, what happens when I'm in that space of appreciation, presence, and delight, I'm looking for solutions. So now I'm looking for all the stuff I can throw in the bucket, right? I'm looking for all the little delights I have. Is it a smoothness of the pen, or the click of a fingernail clipper, or I have a special glass that's not special at all, but I've broken all but this one and I love it. So it's like I'm looking for all the little things I can throw in that bucket that I enjoy, that bring me delight. It's not a big thing. They're usually very small things. So the interesting thing about these habits of scarcity versus abundance, scarcity tends to be big picture focused. And so when I'm looking at the empty bucket, I am seeing like, I don't have enough. I don't have money. I'll never have money. When I'm seeing I don't have time, I'll never have the time, right? What am I all of a sudden not going to have these chores to do? It seems like I'll never have it. It's catastrophe, right? It is a big deal. When I don't have whatever I don't have a lot of it, and I will never ever have it. I will never achieve it in my mind in scarcity. But abundance is quite the opposite. So abundance is like these little tiny delights that you just let your brain latch on to. And it's usually a little thing. It's like, I'm not trying to invest in pens because I like this smooth pen. I'm not taking it to this amazing thing where I'm like trying to write a book by hand. But am I finding other places where I create ease? Because that's what I feel like when I'm with the smooth pen. I feel like writing is easeful. Are there other places where I create ease? Clean sheets also feel easeful. I'm like, it's easy to relax when I get in a fresh bed. Tiny delights, small things, every day achievable, but it adds up to ease of life, delight in life. So when I am feeling scarce and it's this big picture catastrophe, can I start to bring it down? If I don't have money, what do I not have money for? What specifically am I missing? Where's my bucket empty? Because I have money to pay my rent, but maybe I don't have money to invest in a trip to Europe, right? So be specific. If I'm in this broad picture, can I bring it down to the details? When I'm in abundance, can I get it bigger? If I'm finding these simple delights and my dog's smile, can I make it a little bit bigger and find the people who make me smile? Can I find the people who bring me that delight? And now I'm like really living fulfillment because I'm in relationships that are meaningful to me. So can I take the scarcity, the empty bucket, and stop focusing on the emptiness and start bringing it down to specific? I'm not empty over here, but maybe I want to build here. And when I'm in abundance, can I grow with that? Can I get bigger? So just to recap, both scarcity and abundance are habits we practice. They're things that we believe because we think them over and over and over again. So what are you willing to believe? What are you willing to practice over and over again? Is it that your bucket is empty? That's okay. Like I said, I found that 1,000 places this week when I was looking. I do practice scarcity. It doesn't mean I'm wrong or terrible or failing in life. It just means it happens. It's there. That's okay. But am I willing to consciously keep practicing that? Not so much. Like if it's leading me to a low quality of action, I'm going to kind of work towards change there. So when I'm noticing I'm scarce somewhere, can I consider another possibility? Can I consider that there is plenty, that there is enough, that I can build on what I have? If I feel judged, like I'm not enough, am I willing to consider that I get to define my own worth? I get to define when I'm doing it well. If I'm thinking I don't know how, can I begin to learn a little bit? Can I just figure out where I would figure out how to learn something? If I feel busy, can I find little places where I feel ease? Is it easy to do this? Where in my life does it flow? If my schedule is full, where is it easeful? Is busy urgency, grind. Can I change that to fullness? I'm making choices in my life that I love. So both are habits. What are you willing to believe? What are you willing to practice? When you find yourself in scarcity, can you bring it smaller and get detailed so that you can practice the abundance in parts and put some grains of sand in your bucket where you're scarce? And when you're feeling abundant, can you take it bigger? Tell me what questions you have. Tell me, anybody come on for live coaching? I love this possibility. I think it's a lot of fun. Somebody says, abundance has always felt really woo-woo to me. Thank you for making it practical. You're welcome. I love some woo-woo. I love woo-woo. I am a believer in crazy energy and crazy things happening, but I gotta tell you, I really love science. I really look to what's happening in the brain. That is actually the beginning of what started my life towards life coaching. Was when I moved to Pittsburgh, I was just frozen in fear. I could barely go to the grocery store. And I read a book about what happens in the brain with fear. And I started understanding that process of the brain, and I found it fascinating, and it has been a roller coaster of amazing discoveries since then. And so, yeah, practicality is important. Woo-woo is a lot of fun, but I like the science. Somebody says, how do when the data tells me, when my bank account says that I literally do not have enough, how do I make that shift? So part of the shift is just being like, what are the facts? Do I have zero money in my bank account? Probably not. Like, I'm going to go with, you probably have some money in your bank account. I know there are people out there who do have zero or negative balances. So I'm not discounting that exists, and that may be you as well. But even if your bank account is zero or negative, do you have some source of income? Do you have some source of skill that you could build, or just someone that you could talk to about it? You can go as low as, do I have someone that could be any kind of support? But going into the details, the first thing to do is go into your bank account. I don't have enough to cover the bills. Okay, that is data. Here are all the bills I have to pay. Here's the income. It doesn't match. So then you can look at, why doesn't it match? Do I have to have all of these bills? Are all of these totally required of me? Are they required in the quantity that they're there? So you can start looking at it. Where do I want to find more money? How could I make more of it? I'm making it in this way. I'm making money. That's amazing. Could I make more of it? That would be amazing. What can I be open? And you ask yourself the question. The beauty in this example of the bank account is, you ask yourself the question, how could I make more? I know that there are people who make more. How can I learn what they're doing? Now you start looking for options. Here's where the woo-woo comes in. Now you start opening yourself up to possibilities, and you get to explore the different things. Some things are going to be a loss. Some things are going to be a win. You're going to get both. When you're getting answers, that's when you're winning, even if the answers are wrong. So if you say, how do I make more money? You consider an option and it's a no. You consider an option, it's a no. Can I get a raise? No. Can I do a side job? Maybe. Can I, when you start getting answers, that's abundance. That's taking quality action, because even when you get a no, you are considering possibilities. You're not just looking in an empty bucket expecting it to sprout dollars. Now you've lifted your gaze and you're looking around saying, how can I create more dollars? I don't know. They're not there yet. Yet is a powerful, powerful word for abundance as well. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't have the money yet. I don't have the time yet. Time, listen, I might not be able to find money in your bank account, but I can find minutes on your clock. I've gotten good at that. So yeah, you look at the data and then you look at the data as if it can change at any moment, and start asking that really valuable question, how can it change? Thank you for that question. I kind of went on a tangent for that. But I hope that was all helpful. And I see that we are just right at time. So I don't have time for live coaching, but I love this topic because I love the idea that even when I'm feeling low, right? Because we all do, half of life feels great, half of life feels not so great. And all of that has great information in it. So instead of when I find myself looking in an empty bucket, great. I just discovered where I'm feeling scarce. I just discovered a place where my actions are low quality. I just discovered a place where there is potential. That's abundance. Thank you so much for being here today. I look forward to seeing you next week. And I get on my schedule for a consultation. This work is so impactful. It has helped me change so much. And not only, I've always delighted in the small things, I'm going to tell you that, but I haven't always thought the big things are possible. And that's what this work has done for me. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon.